Awesome.
All right, we're live. Hello, everyone. This is episode 30 of SEO Unmasked on April 5th, 2018. Like I was just saying, we finally got the cool YouTube upgrade to low latency. So now we don't have like a 10-second delay between talking and it being live on YouTube. Yeah, I'm Garrett Groff.
I'm Vindaletto.
I'm Tired Steve.
And I'm Rand Fishkin's white privilege.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ah, nice. Very good, sir.
That's a real
Unexpected introduction from John, but
well, someone had to say it. Yeah. Anyways, I know last week I said on Friday I was going to upload the rest of the 24 hours of SEO videos. There's only 3 left. Not going to lie, I totally forgot about it until just now. So you're going to have to wait till tomorrow. It's Troy Fox, Lexi Mills, and her friend. What was her name, Steve? I'm sorry, I can't remember. It's been so long. Ellie? Was it Ellie? I think so.
yeah, it was Ellie. Yeah,
And then Tom Campanaro. He was the guy that was nice and stuck it out with us for a few hours. I think those are the last
yeah,
3.
they're the last ones, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so just those 3 to go up. They're all good. Definitely worth checking out. If you don't know what the 24 hours of SEO is, back in January we did a charity event. We were online for 24 hours, live stream. Had a lot of good presentations.
Got the T-shirt.
Yeah. This was a lot of stuff being talked about that you're not going to learn from the gurus. You're not going to learn from conferences. People that were on the show did speak at conferences, but they were pretty nice and talked about stuff that no one talks about, like I said. So a lot to learn. Head over to the 24hoursofseo.com/register. Once you sign up, you just get put on the mailing list, and that was for every time we upload a new video, you got alerted so you didn't miss them. But within the registered area, you get access to the slideshows. Some presenters didn't have a slideshow, but there were some good ones in there, running through stuff. Mike Blumenthal had a deck. Nick Eubanks had one. Yeah, a bunch of people did have one, and it's nice to be.
I highly suggest Nick's video. I'm still tearing that apart and finding juicy gems in there.
Yeah, that was really cool of him because it was the same couple of weeks when he just merged with those other 2 agencies. He doesn't normally talk at many events, so for him to do both talk and share something that really no one's talking about properly was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So thanks again, Nick.
For sure. Non-licensed discovery place rehab. Let's talk about the British SEO Guru Conference hero. Who might that be?
Who is non-licensed discovery place rehab?
I would.
Is that your buddy Uncle Bill?
I would guess that's Uncle Bill.
Cool.
Beautiful.
On the YouTube for you guys, does it look a little off?
I can never have the YouTube up at the same time, so I rely on you guys to keep me up to date on the comments.
Let's change your back.
The video quality is a little grainy, more grainy than usual, but I actually think the feed is coming through faster than it usually does.
Yeah.
Less lag.
Yeah, that new latency thing's nice. I knocked it down to 30 frames per second for this one, but that might be it, I guess. Yeah, weird, whatever. I'll change it back next time, not a big deal.
Let's jump into it.
Yeah. Steve can talk about his Ethereum app builders getting screwed, because I never know what's going on with
so it seems like it has the same problem that Bitcoin has, where like transactions take 7.5 weeks or something. And well, they've got it down again now because no one's using it again because the price has dropped so much. But Ethereum, the whole idea was that people would build these decentralized startups on top of it. And this article is just pointing out that Uber does 12 rides a second or something. And Ethereum can only process 15 transactions total per second across the whole ecosystem. So it could support like one Uber could be decentralized on there. It couldn't possibly support a whole bunch of people starting big decentralized apps.
Why is it so slow?
They all are.
But yeah, I just have no idea why they're so slow.
Not enough miners. Basically, the mining rewards are already insanely high relative to the size of the transactions. Keyboard muting someone. And
Finn, shut the fuck up.
Sorry.
So yeah, the mining fees are already very high relative to the size of the transactions that are being processed on all these blockchains. But unfortunately, they're too low to encourage enough mining. Given
Bill
the
says that
hardware.
they have subchains now that are addressing that. And like I just have no idea how this processing even works. Like I know how like you're mining Bitcoin, but so every time if I trade a coin with someone, obviously it takes some computing power, but why is it taking so much more than, say, me sending someone some PayPal money?
Because the whole thing has to go through proof of work to then get validated and added to a new block in the chain. And so like the proof of work is a huge amount of computing power and energy used to prove that one block is valid.
Oh.
And only when it's trusted by enough is it kind of fully on the blockchain. If it was easy to update the blockchain and the proof of work was easy, then malicious actors could make up fake blocks where they had all the money. And there are theoretical levels where that's still possible with Bitcoin. I don't know about some of the other ones. But it would take, I think it's 62% of the processing power on the whole network you would need to overcome it, which is considered to be sufficient.
Interesting. Steve, how stupid am I for not investing in any crypto right now?
I don't know. I'm down.
Down.
I invested when it fell a load in Germany's biggest crypto exchange, Bitcoin.de, because that's listed on the stock market and has solid financials. Despite continuing to post solid financials, the falling Bitcoin has wiped most of the value off their stock price.
Yeah.
It pretty much just tracks Bitcoin.
I'm invested still with my old company, and been getting pretty good return. So
I would just stick with that if I was you.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to anything, and
yeah.
But I feel like I'm missing out here.
Well, if we'd all started 5 years ago, then yeah,
It'd be a different story.
yeah, I'd be up 4,000%. But because I tried to get on buying the dips, I mean, I've bought plenty of dips, but the next dip just keeps coming lower than the last one.
Yeah.
So I think I'm done dip buying for now. I think like my amount of investment in Bitcoin.de is now maxed out.
Well, I remember a couple months ago or whatever, I thought Bitcoin was going to floor at 7,500, but what's that now?
Yeah, so did I.
Well, do you think it's just a massive correction where like
I think it's totally manipulated. I think all the big financial powers of the world are manipulating it on purpose. If you look at the graphs, it's pretty obvious. It's just pump and dump every day, 4 times a day.
Yeah. I always expected it to pull back to, and like once it became adopted as an actual currency, then it would drop down to its actual value instead of just insanely inflated.
If it got adopted as natural currency, it would go to 100,000.
Yeah.
That's what's stopping it going to 100,000 is that there isn't enough real world usage. So it's just pure speculation at the minute. There's not enough money moving. There's not enough desperation to hold it. There's not enough. But I think I'm going to hold. I think Bitcoin.de's got a solid business plan. I think people are going to be trading these kind of currencies for a while, and they keep making money. So I don't depend necessarily on Bitcoin's price going up. If something that they trade becomes valuable and they keep making money and it just generally gets more adopted, I think it's a good buy. But then I'm not a stockbroker. Please don't take my advice and go.
Before we talk about the conference tour 2018, Goyden had a good point. A lot of the, in the last year, we've seen a lot of the SEOs become self-proclaimed Bitcoin experts. And a lot of these guys were blogging quite a bit about Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that. Join me, I'm printing money. And now they're all back to just grinding SEO. Weird.
Well, a couple of months ago, we talked about No Hat Digital coming out with that post that basically pushing people into crypto affiliate.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do agree that there's correlations between what we do as SEOs and what it takes to operate in the crypto world. But, I think there's going to be a lot of turmoil. What's that?
What are those correlations?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't fucking follow crypto at all. I just said that. But
well, I think it's the.
I think you have to be a degenerate, and like 90% of
there
SEO.
we go. There we go.
90% of SEOs that are in SEO because they're in it to get rich quick online, and they saw cryptocurrency as the same thing as SEO, minimal amount of work to hopefully make a lot of money. And this is the same reason they lost money in crypto is because they don't do real work in the SEO world either.
Yeah, but in the same thing as SEO, well, winners will emerge. Like the actual workers that put the time and effort into it are gonna make their money.
But
I think Garrett's being too cynical. I think a lot of the people who did well are all the affiliate marketing types because they already had all of their huge social accounts. They got their email list to blast their offers out.
When I'm talking about this, I don't know if John had a different point, but I'm talking a lot of the SEO guys that I watch. They weren't doing affiliate. They weren't doing anything SEO with crypto.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that at all.
They were taking all their money, putting it into Bitcoin, and riding it to the top, and then not selling. And they'd be like, "Oh, I'm up like 1,000%." And then as soon as it crashed, everyone was gone. Everyone was silent, and they're all going back to just blogging about SEO. Like,
no, if you made money doing like Bitcoin affiliate stuff, more power to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you were just an investor, then yeah, okay.
Well, everyone who bought like 0.004 Bitcoin, like put it on their Twitter profile.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Bitcoin enthusiast, blockchain expert.
I think the most recent chase at Bitcoin when it went up to like 20 grand or close to it, I think that was when all the bandwagoners were jumping on big time.
Yeah, exactly.
They were right to get burned because they didn't do any research, they didn't do any due diligence, they just jumped in and wasted their money.
Yeah, I thought I was pretty smart trying to get on at 9.5 because I felt like it had such a big correction, and then just kind of buy the dips until it. I mean, I may still be right, so I guess I'm not too upset. I've lost it's down. I'm down 28% on where I first started buying in, so it's not. In the scheme of crypto investments, it's pretty mild swing I've taken.
Yeah,
I think that's.
I look at crypto investments the same way I would look at a gambling bankroll. Number one rule is don't spend money that you can't afford to lose. And so if I have extra money, I would just throw it into crypto and let it sit for 10 years or whatever and just see what happens with it.
Yeah, that's kind of my plan. I'm not worried about it unless it's still down in 5 years' time from now.
Right.
But I mean, I know some actual sharp SEOs that were investing like a lot of time in this crap, and I just.
Well, dude, No Hat Digital literally put a blog post out just saying if you're an SEO, you're stupid for not getting into crypto, either as an affiliate, pushing crypto services, or just straight up investing in it. And I've never seen a guru blog just like blatantly hand out a niche like that. So it's different for sure. I think it's uncharted territory.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. It's even on their homepage now.
It's so small now compared with what it's going to be if it is successful. So it's either going to be the future of currency or nothing. So, and you don't get those kind of opportunities very often. Most things are just like, I mean, some people got lucky or were super skilled, whatever you want to think of them, and they were the first investors in like Facebook and Uber and stuff like that, and they've made a lot of money. Spotting those is kind of tough.
I don't want to call it a shiny object either, because you can make money in it. But for me, it's like, I have my business. I'm just going to keep my head down and keep chipping away at my goals and my plans and just stick with that. if I'm going to jump off to, another shiny object, I'm just taking time and money away from my goals.
Well, you could get all of your writers to work for free if you paid them in your new Word Agents coin.
Yeah.
And it would immediately be worth dollars, so they could actually cash out dollars, but it wouldn't cost you anything because you just keep issuing your new your new Word Agents coin, like that social network we talked about, Steemit, where like people are getting paid $1,000 to post a tweet and stuff like that. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Just generating currency out of thin air. Kind of sounds like America. Anyway, what we got next, sir?
Oh, over at the round table, breaking news. John Giandria, or however you say that, he was head of search at Google, stepping down, and right, I got that right. And Ben Gomes is coming in as VP of search, and Jeff Dean will lead the AI effort.
They're not having much luck keeping this head of search job in place because they only just lost someone, 2 years ago, whatever.
Yeah, Amit Singhal, who stepped down in 2016. I've seen this dude, Ben, forever in all of Google's like events and stuff. So he's been a long time Google employee. Yeah. What I thought was most interesting about this was towards the bottom, where he opined that AI is not going so well with search. And if that's true, that's kind of scary, because if you've been listening to me for the past couple of months, all I've been doing is trying to figure out how AI is integrated into search and how to game that. So it'll be a bummer if they're just stepping away from RankBrain or whatever.
Well, I mean, I think all AI was ever going to do in search was to better deliver what they think the users want. So I don't think you have to figure out how to game the AI unless it has massive flaws. So you would want them to be, so doing what you're doing, you actually want them to be struggling, because then if you research it, you'll find if they were good, then you can't find flaws in it. So you can't game it. So
I don't mean really gaming. I just mean trying to understand what the machine learning is analyzing, and just putting in front of it what it's looking for. That's interesting, but that's just an opinion. That obviously it's just shooting, into nothing there. But we'll see.
If you guys have the page up, if you notice on the right side of Barry's toolbar, he has sponsored links. Anchor Tech's best SEO company goes to SEOvalley.com. And the other one is link penalty recovery, 200 pounds, includes locating and contacting. And then you go to this linkaudit.co, you click on their penalty service, and it's 359 pounds for one. Oh, this is a link audit. So how much?
Well, they probably bought that ad like 10 years ago or something, when it was still followed, because he follows them now. It was probably just a followed link purchase originally.
Automatic link removal tools.
He used to have, like, when there were followed links, he used to have a lot more sponsors.
So what does this link removal tool do? It just probably plugs into an API and says, this link is bad. We're just going to email whatever email address we can scrape with a template, and they do that 3 times.
I don't know. I clicked the tools thing in the drop down, like tools access tools page, and it says there is no project set up for this domain. Go back and start up a new project. So.
I actually thought the most interesting part of this article is the fact that this guy's leaving to go to Apple.
Right, yeah. It makes you wonder what he's going to be doing over there. Apple can't imagine trying to compete in search, can they? Do you think he's going to be over there for Siri or something?
Well, no, where Apple's struggling is Siri. Like, Siri's a piece of crap compared with Cortana and whatever Google calls theirs. Like, it's terrible. It's not even funny how bad theirs is. They're so far behind. So I'd imagine that's where he's going to be adding value to them.
I know you're against it, Steve, but does anybody else use an assistant on their desk, an AI assistant? I've got Google Home, Erin got it for me for Christmas, but it's still sitting in the box. I got to set that shit up. And she got me the lights too, so I can control all the lights in the house with Google Home.
You should just turn the lights off in whatever room she's in and just be like,
yeah.
Stop wasting my power, woman.
It's just it's a giant tool that facilitates pranks in my house. So I'll set that up eventually. Cool.
Yeah. Another article from Barry. Everyone knows that. What's going on here? Why doesn't that link work? Let me find it. Oh, this is over at Search Engine Land. Sorry. Let me see if I can find it again. Someone screwed up my.
I got it right here. I'll set it in the chat.
All right, I got her fixed now.
Oh yeah.
Search Engine Land. Sorry, not Barry. Oh, I did write it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he did it right.
Just over at the land. With Brexit, if it actually does happen finally, the EU says if you are in England, you can't be using EU domains. So there might be a risk at you might have to start a new website today to be ready in 2 years to.
I mean, I'm guessing anyone big is just going to register a company somewhere in Europe, and that'll own the domain. I guess if you're small though, this is going to be a pain in the ass.
I mean, you just buy another domain, different TLD, 301.
Oh, that's that you can't 301 it. They're going to take the domain off you and let someone else buy it.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
What is that? Isn't that going to actually like screw with the entire economy? I mean, that's a huge.
Yeah.
Again,
it kind of sounds like the EU
it's a spike move.
Yeah.
They don't like our negotiating tactics so far. So.
I mean, I think the real lesson here is just, again, don't buy these stupid novelty domains.
I agree with that.
Why would you?
Yeah, like there's plenty of .coms and they work just fine in Europe.
Yeah, like this is dumb.
I think I've always done .coms. I might have had one or two sites on a .net maybe, and which there's nothing wrong with that. But you know, the vanity domains are a little silly, I think.
They're going to take
if it's something you care about, .net, .com, or .org every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can always think of a name. We've never not been able to come up with a name that's 2 words. The interesting thing is leave.eu. The Leave campaign are going to lose their website the day that we leave.
that they actually leave.
So I guess, but they can't have leave.co.uk because that sounds like we're leaving the UK. So I don't know what they're going to do.
I mean, the whole marketing campaign for the vanity domains when they first started getting popular was, we're going to run out of .com and .nets and .orgs.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, I like a lot of there's some agencies that have got, you know, like .agency, and it makes sense. You know, I think if you want your specific name, like, you know, your name's Wilson or something common, and obviously you're not going to get Wilson.com, but you could get Wilson.agency, and it's your name.
Yeah.
It's hard, then you're less likely to get it taken off you by like some big corporate called Wilson, because you can argue that you're not infringing on their name because you're Wilson Agency and it's clearly not the same.
I'm getting yelled at for muting our resident troll.
I've ordered him to keep it clean.
Yeah, I think I would be really pissed if I was a EU TLD holder.
It is such a spite move. It's like, why not? Okay, if Brexit does happen, moving forward, you really do need to be in the EU to have an EU domain. And if you already have one and you're in England, so be it. You know, you keep it.
Yeah. At the same time, though, they're like, all the people that have come over there that are EU citizens, you've got to keep them, but you can't keep your domains. It's like, well, they're negotiating with us like children. It's pathetic how their negotiating stance is. It's like this whole thing could have been dealt with by grown-ups in like a week.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we'll keep trading. you know, obviously everyone wants their citizens to be allowed to stay where they are. Like, we don't want all the people that retired to Spain kicked out and coming home. But then the Spanish don't want that either because they've got shitloads of money. Tens of thousands of houses on the south of Spain will be empty, and if they did that. So just, I don't know. Politicians aren't grown-ups, so what can we do?
Yeah. Nope.
But yeah, I think that's I think John's point's the main thing to take away from that. Just, you know, don't buy that crap in the first place.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Especially if you're building a business on a brandable domain, you know.
Right.
We know .coms aren't going anywhere.
No.
What
was the original worry? That so many people were hoarding domains and sitting on them, or what?
The original worry was the lack of option in the big three, and go to a vanity domain, and you can have, you know, plenty of other options, and you can get snarky with the TLD and make it sound real cute. And I've seen that.
Like all the bit.ly and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then the government changes there, and like you can't have your domain anymore.
I think that's one of those things, though, where there was maybe a little merit to the argument, but from the beginning, these things have just been a total scam.
Well,
Yeah,
I've been registering a lot of domains lately, and some of those fancy ones are like $40 a year for some fucking bullshit XYZ. Like, no, like I'm not. No, you know, it's like,
yeah. Well, the usual trick is that they get you with like a low teaser price for the first year, and then it's like 40 times that, or 60 times that the second year.
Stupid.
I
think what's that?
I do think squatting's a problem on the .coms because there's so many just not even valuable .coms. Like, no one's ever going to pay these people money for them, but they own thousands of them for no reason. And it's
domainers.
Like,
I mean, domaining is a whole industry in of itself.
But there's good people. There's good people doing it who make a lot of money and buy sensible domains. They might actually resell. You know, there's other people that just own all these ridiculous domains, and then they're like, oh, I've got this. You get the emails from them. Oh, I noticed you've got like X, Y, something. You know,
we have it. We have the same domain with a hyphen. How about you want to buy it for $18,000?
Yeah, but like you just have to understand. You have to understand that game. Like if you want a domain that they have, okay, you know that their first offer is going to be insane. They just want to see if you're stupid. Then 3 months later, it's half the price. Then 6 months later, it's half of that price.
They're pretty resilient at not dropping the price as much as you think, though. They're pretty delusional, some of these people. I mean, it's like everything. It gets ruined by idiots. Like the people doing it well were buying really valuable domains and then selling them to big companies that, you know, wanted them. Like in the drug treatment space, you know, they would buy up domains that were dropped by drug treatment charities that went out of business or stopped raising money, and they would sell them to treatment centers. And the treatment centers are happy to pony up $100,000 because of the backlink profile. I mean, this is before Google kind of figured out that you shouldn't necessarily give full value to those backlinks.
I don't think it's fair to call that domaining. That's like an actual legitimate business model. Domaining is like,
well, no, that's what good domainers do. It's the idiots that have ruined.
That's a tiny fraction of the people that are doing domaining.
Yeah.
It's kind of like.
Well, yeah, but it's the same. It's the same in SEO. Like a tiny fraction of people in SEO know what they're doing. The rest of them are just stealing money from small businesses.
Yeah. The point is, if the domainers are so resilient and they won't drop the price, they're only that way because people are giving them what they're asking for. So.
Well, or they've bought 15,000 domains for $10 each, and if someone doesn't give them $150,000 soon,
yeah, they go out of business.
No, domain prices have dropped through the floor. At least prices that doesn't have like links or traffic.
Yeah, they really have, but there's still plenty of idiots registering everything that moves. I think there should be a kind of use it or lose it thing, but then that would be good though, because even if they had to fake using it, they've still got to waste a load of time with their 15,000 domains putting something on there.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
What's up?
Yeah, what do we got?
So over at TechCrunch, you know, Facebook has a lot of shit going on with their privacy issues, and Zuckerberg is kind of stuck in where a few years, more than a few years ago, he made like public statements saying we're never ever going to use this data against you, blah blah blah. And now they're in this huge data use, privacy use stuff, shit everyone knows about, and they own Instagram. Instagram suddenly chokes off developers. Basically, used to make, what were the numbers? Used to be able to make 5,000 API calls an hour. Now they've squeezed it down to 200 in hopes that people won't get as much information. Because I'm going to guess they had like old terms saying we will guarantee you to supply this information, but not how much or something. So I guess this is their only option, is just restrict how much you can get at a time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they have some massive security vulnerabilities. I mean, people were able to, he admitted, scrape just about every Facebook user's private data, even though it wasn't supposed to be accessible, which is lovely. I don't know, this company's just a mess, but then anyone who thought this dysfunctional, hated by his peers chap who, I'm going to refrain from saying the rest of what I was going to say. I can just say that he wasn't liked very much, and did some pretty questionable things during his business career. He was going to care about you and me on the platform. Was pretty naive.
No.
It's unsurprising to see the state of the business, and I think, I don't know, I haven't got much love for them anymore. I think the advertising's becoming too expensive. It doesn't excite me anymore. When it was like a 20th the price of Google to get a click, you just rip clicks off that bad boy for 3 cents a click back in the day, and you're getting them to sign up. Like you're getting a 10% sign up rate to your list. You're paying 30 cents a person instead of
I'm really surprised that their stock only dropped $30 from 190 to 160. I really expected them to like really eat shit, but that's the state of the world we live in.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of believers still.
Well, that's a problem. I think we live in a world of everyone is so fucking delusional. Just have no idea what's really going on.
Yeah, it is worrying.
So were any major Instagram apps like affected? Oh, so like all these like camera apps and
pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't have a choice though if they knew it was leaking personal data.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Until they fix it, I mean, they can put it back, I guess, if they fix the problem.
Yeah, but do you think they will?
I think they will. Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of think they
because that was Twitter's mistake. Remember, that's what Instagram was learning from. Like, if Twitter killed itself by killing the third-party apps because they thought they could control it themselves, and all they did was let Instagram rip ahead of them because there were all these cool third-party apps. So I think if it turns out the apps don't help drive Instagram growth, then they might not put it back. But I think after what we saw happen to Twitter, I think they probably will, because
if they don't put it back, they're going to have to rush to
replace all the features.
Yeah, replace all the features. So, I mean, that's a huge mountain to climb in of itself.
Yeah, I mean, a few $1 billion of spend on development is nothing to Facebook, though. So they could do that.
All they got to do is raise ad prices.
Yeah, it's an auction, so. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't excite me advertising on Facebook anymore. The costs, it's no longer the frontier.
Yeah, I've done about maybe $1,000 worth of PPC in my lifetime, so kind of affecting me.
It's $1,000 too many, man. It's a waste of money.
Yeah.
You pour a whole bottle of gin in that cup, or what?
Pretty aggressive amount of gin. Yeah.
It sounded like
there's a little bit of cranberry in here.
So that was the cranberry you poured in. That wasn't.
I poured the gin when I had the gin in my hand, on the cranberry when I had. It's half and half. 50-50 is the correct mix for a gin and cranberry.
I was drinking gin and pomegranate last night, which was awesome.
But I'm gonna try that next. Although my gin bottle has not very much gin left now, so maybe I have to get some more gin as well.
Hey, so this next article on the web hosting conspiracy, this is...
Yeah, it's definitely something I've noticed going on, especially the last couple of years. And it's hard to find a good hosting company if you're looking for good service.
It basically the article is just saying that all hosting companies that us SEOs are trying to say which one's better. It doesn't matter because they're all basically owned by the same two.
Well, it's not all of them. What happened was there used to be all these kind of medium-sized SEO companies like Big Rock. Used to be really good. And they were based out of India. And these big groups just went around buying them up because they could buy them for what seemed like an amazing price to the owners. So, just say you're doing $1 million a month or something, and they can come along and offer $12 million to you in cash right now. And you just take it because you're like, oh yeah, that's pretty good because, I'm only making 20% margin on my $1 million a month. That's a really good multiple. But they know they're going to make more money because the first thing they're going to do is put the prices up, kill the service, fire all the customer support agents, and dump you into their centralized support.
And they also smushed the amount of websites on a single server too.
Yeah, so they just jam the profits up hugely for the same number of customers. So they've actually made a really good deal. But it's the bulk of the industry now. So that's why I kind of shared this one because we were aware of it because we were affected by some of the issues, and we moved to Known Host, who
They are awesome. We're not affiliated with them. There's no links or anything, but I even use them for a few years for small stuff. But honestly, they're probably the best hosting company.
Although, if you want to support Builder Society, I think their link on the Builder Society website is an affiliate link. So if you want to support Buso, since we're not going to get anything, and you want to give someone a little slice,
Known Host, I'm pretty sure it's 24/7 live chat, not just sales live chat, which a lot of these assholes say they have 24/7 live chat. That's just for sales, and like the actual technical support's only a few hours a day. And even if it's not, but I'm pretty sure it is, their ticket time is like literally, they actually have support staff, and within 5 minutes they've looked at it and they have an answer, and then they'll say, okay, we need to do this. Do I have your permission? And you say yes, and it's just fixed, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I actually just closed my very last HostGator account, and I'm never going back.
Yeah. Well, they got bought. That's that's when.
What kind of hosting do you use, John?
I use a mixture of different stuff depending on like what specifically I'm working on. I use Bluehost for a couple of websites. I have like a lot of kind of small websites that I host on dedicated servers, and I use kind of specialized servers for that. But I've seen these problems too. I used Host9 for a few years, and it went from being like decent to just absolutely unusable in that span of time. And I'm pretty sure they got sold. And
that's what my experience with HostGator. The websites were, slow to a crawl. But Bluehost is actually listed in this article as one of the companies that is actually owned by a larger conglomerate. So you're actually in that mix.
You need to get yourself over to Known Host, man.
Yeah, I haven't done Known Host yet, but I'm on WPX, which was Traffic Plan Hosting, and they're independent, and they're fucking awesome, man. I've never had an issue, and the customer service is on point.
One of the really interesting things that's developed is for people who want to kind of, if you are more technically knowledgeable and you want to just completely remove people that are reselling AWS to you through their platform as a service stuff, you want to stay away from, like we use Python Anywhere for some stuff, and all they're doing is reselling AWS with support and Python set up properly, so you can just code. There's a lot of platform as a service tools now, like Gelastic. You can, if you're fairly big and you wanted to be able to spin up loads of your own VPSs on AWS, but with an easier to use and more like, it's more DigitalOcean than going through the 4,000 steps you have to go through on AWS to set anything up with their insanely ridiculous system.
Yeah, I was gonna, John. How much upkeep do you have for a dedicated server? Like, what is it a pain in the ass to set that up and maintain it, or is it second nature to you?
I buy them through a company that offers like pretty good support, and I also don't use cPanel on those dedicated servers, which would seem to kind of reduce a lot of the problems that I have.
The cPanel license is pretty expensive if you want to add it to a dedicated server, correct?
I think it probably is, yeah. And I hate cPanel.
It's not too bad. It's pretty cheap compared with the cost of the server. Like, you get a no-host dedicated server.
It really depends. The actual license. So, like, on our dedicated server, Known Host gets a super sweet deal because they're reselling cPanel stuff to like 10,000 people.
Yeah.
If you go to cPanel yourself and have a machine and say, I want a cPanel license, it's going to be like $500 a month.
Yeah, those are the prices I saw.
So it's you have to go through someone.
How do you manage the server? Is it just command line, or do you have a graphic interface?
So it's something called Server Pilot, and they have a very basic graphic interface, but I do most of the work on those servers through command line.
Gotcha.
Server Pilot,
and they have a really good API, so I'm able to launch stuff mostly just through command line, and it's super convenient.
Another skill set that I do not have, but
you can always learn, man. I'm totally self-taught. You just gotta get in there and do it.
For sure. We all need more hours in the day, I think.
Yeah. Vin doesn't believe in hiring staff. He runs his business.
I'm working on it.
He's always dying over there. He has a business.
Yeah, Vin, I'm starting to think you're right. So
I just had a meeting with
I would give Garrett literally 4 days of thinking it was a good idea for us to run the business like Vin before he decided he didn't like the job anymore and wanted to close the business down. I admire Vin's tenacity. Actually, it would have finished me off by now.
My CRM should be done this week, actually, and I just met with my CPA about my cash flow and should be able to hire 2 more full-timers. So that's coming down the pipeline, and then Vinny will have more time to learn new skill sets.
It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. It's just
you'll make more money in the long run. Just the short term, obviously, you have a little bit of pain, but
just this past 12 months, I'm just going nuts. But I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, or the tunnel towards the next step of business.
Yeah, we almost have this ship righted, I guess.
Notice how much younger John looks than us. He's actually only 2 years younger than me. But this is what happens if you run a non-customer internet business.
Yeah,
and this is what happens to you if you run a business with customers.
Yeah, I'm the youngest one here, and I look older than all you fucks.
I know.
Yeah.
John still gets ID'd when we're in Vegas, like at the gambling tables. I'm like, dude, he's only 2 years younger than me. Why am I not getting ID'd?
When I was in Vegas, he was saying his class reunion was in such and such year, and I'm like, oh, that's the same year I graduated. And then like an hour later, I'm like, oh, that's when I graduated high school. And John's like, yeah, that's when I graduated college.
I cannot wait to hire an account manager with a knack for customer service, because I'm just
good luck with that.
I'm available.
Yeah,
about $3,000 a year.
Just when it's like 6 p.m. I've been working since 7 a.m. and I get like a cranky customer calling me or emailing me.
Yeah,
it's real hard to keep your composure on days like that. But with extra help comes more patience.
Yeah. Anyways,
finding good account people is really tough. It's the hardest position to fill, I think you'll find.
Yeah.
I guess my last thought about this web hosting thing is that I do think that it's true that like some of these larger companies have gone to shit, but I do think there's some value in kind of blending in the grand scheme of things. And most normal webmasters are hosting their sites on these services, and I I just kind of like blending in with them and not drawing any extra.
Well, I think known host is plenty big enough that you don't look like some kind of backwater weirdo to be hosting there. They're a pretty big host.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't actually have evidence to back that up. I am sort of paranoid. But
and then you got all these sites that you're running from the command line without cPanel, and you're like, oh yeah, just totally blend in and be like everyone else, but do all this extra stuff.
Those do not blend in whatsoever.
That's all your Bitcoin sites, right?
Oh yeah. Mine in 24 hours a day.
JavaScript miner every time someone reads an article.
Yeah.
We covered that a few shows ago, actually. It's the JavaScript mining. Like, they worked out people were making, like, it was you weren't actually doing that much worse than AdSense, but the person's computer at the other end was just like 100% max CPU while they were on your website.
Mm-hmm. Fuck them.
What an ethical industry.
Oh, speaking about ethics, Maz.
Oh boy.
Jesus Christ.
So over at Big SEO on Reddit, someone made a post about they've launched beta for their new Link Explorer, whatever the fuck, and
it's not whatever the fuck. They're replacing Open Site Explorer with a new tool called Link Explorer, which looks like it's going to rival Ahrefs. But go ahead.
Which is good. So Steve sent me this link, and before I looked at it, so as I've said before, I kind of got kicked out of a lot of the Facebook groups about SEO, and there was this other guy named Brad from Texas. I forget his last name right now. I got him on Facebook. I'll look him up in a bit, but
I think it's Expert.
Well, okay, there's a story to this. Let me tell you the story, because I haven't even told you the whole story. So a couple months ago, this guy named Brad just comes out of nowhere. He's like in his 40s or something. Probably his 40s, probably late 40s. Lives somewhere in Texas, has a Ferrari, supposedly, has this huge mansion, whatever the fuck. Beautiful wife and kids, whatever. And he just started chewing people out in all these SEO groups. Like, you guys are just all scum. If you really want to work, it's beyond SEO. Kind of the same stuff that I rant about. And he would chew anybody out. Like, if they were up to any shady shit, he would call them out and like back his stuff up with resources. Like, legitimately chew people out. I've been here, done that. You're a piece of shit, and you're lying. So he would just get kicked out because it's the same reason I did. And so before I like really paid attention to this thread, I remember Brad's been running a lot of sponsored ads on Facebook, and he ranks for like SEO expert. No, he's number 1 for that on Google. She should still be SEO expert. I think it's Brad's site probably. SEO expert Brad. He ranks number 1 for like everything SEO related all of a sudden, and I've never even bothered to look at it, but it's like, I'm guessing he actually spams quite a bit, and he doesn't. Because it literally came out of nowhere. Within like 3 weeks, he was ranking for like some super competitive stuff, not just SEO expert, but it just really made me laugh that here's fucking Brad again, just tearing apart fucking Rand.
Yeah, I didn't really read the main. I mean, to give people the proper update on the. Basically, it looks like a fairly solid improvement. Ahrefs is still a bit of a mess since their update. We're continuing to report it to people, but
it's disgusting over at Ahrefs. They've fucked it up so much.
It's a complete mess. Like, you've got sites that are like DA40 and were like DR42 before or something, and now like DR60, and you've got sites that were 37 have dropped to like 21. It's like the middle bits now, they've gone from one extreme to another with these fixes, and they're still playing with it. So I don't know what we're supposed to do with it really, but it is what it is. This new Mars update does seem like a genuine attempt to add a lot more data to their index, which is their big problem before, is there just wasn't any data compared with Majestic and Ahrefs. And I think you know, like what Brad's moaning about, I kind of chuckled because it just makes our life easier if Moz actually improves their product, because DA is just kind of embedded in a lot of enterprise buyers' minds, and you know, we always had to go through a song and dance with enterprise customers to get them to put DR in the contract instead of DA.
Well, when you think about it, the whole reason we did that, DR was better. Now, if this is all true, DA is going to be better again. So why not just
go with the flow? Yeah, go with the flow. Yeah.
Why don't you guys just keep what you're doing and give a variety of metrics?
Well, that's what we do now.
Well, yeah, we're not. We're probably going to drop Ahrefs at some point.
Out of spite, or just because you don't like it?
Well, it's the least useful of the three. So, unless they fix it, I mean, you know, we're gonna run for a few months and see. But we're finding that most of our customers, since the change, are looking at the DA and the Majestic citation flow and caring about that a lot more than the schizophrenic random number generator that is the DR score at the minute. So,
yeah. And then when you ask Tim Solo for an explanation, you just get a snarky response back.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't understand it. That guy's just he should have been. I mean, I think they should have fired him because of the way he spoke to the community. Because
yeah.
He's made Majestic a lot of money. I mean, he's personally responsible.
Well, it is true. A lot of people we talked to have switched.
Yeah, everyone's switching, and now Moz is getting back in the game. They couldn't have timed making complete mess of their score any worse if they tried. I mean, but...
I still don't think Tim knows why I'm so pissed at him. It's like, it has nothing to do with the actual scale changing. What happened was you gave everyone 3 days to adjust to this. A lot of companies pay you a lot of money for your data, and you gave us no time to change anything. And then when we get pissed because of that, it's not because of the scale change. It's because you gave us 3 days, and then we said we're pissed because you gave us 3 days. And then you have to come back and say, well, you just don't get it. You're a fucking idiot. No, Tim. Like,
you made up a new scale.
Yeah.
For no reason.
It's like...
I mean, look at Moz.
How am I supposed to report to customers? The whole reason we use you is because you're the industry standard, and now you're not. You're just another wishy-washy piece of shit out to sea. And it's like, okay, it's so stupid.
Well, and the thing is like, look at Moz. They've added, they've gone from like nothing in their index to 29 trillion links in their index. And I think they had 10% of that or something before.
Yeah. So it's going to be cool to see what they're doing.
The scale has barely changed. Like they've kept it in line with where it was before. They just have more useful data now. So the DA is more accurate, but the meaning of the DA hasn't changed. They've kept the scale in line. So yeah, we've had to give away a few free links because we've had a few drop from DA 27 to DA 24 on the update. But on across the board, it's a more accurate representation of where you'd expect the sites to be. They haven't just made up a new number. Oh, we've got more links in there now. It's kind of messed up our number up, so we're just going to make up a new one. They've made it work mathematically in line with what one would expect based on what it used to mean, which seems to me to be, I hate saying this about Moz, but eminently more sensible than what Ahrefs did, which is a depressing thing to have to say.
Everyone do me a favor. Upvote Brad, downvote Rand, and upvote whoever Link chooses.
Well, it's not Rand, it's Karmaceutical, the chap who's famous on Reddit for arguing with Tim Sulo.
I always thought that was Rand.
No, it's.
I thought it was his fake persona.
So,
no, he posts on the Moz blog. This Karmaceutical guy as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that doesn't mean he's definitely a real person, but I believe him to be a real person.
What's up, John?
So my question with this, and it's always my question when some company that was offering like a bad product, it improves it and makes it worth buying again. Are they going to now come out and admit that
you have very good point.
That Open Site Explorer was worthless for the last
Well, Rand admitted it. Rand admitted it at the same time as he announced his departure from Moz.
Yeah. No, you know what? Like, even if it's like an incremental improvement over what I'm using now, how can I trust you? You knowingly put out a terrible product for a long time, and you won't even take ownership of the fact that you did that.
That's something that I have an issue with the SaaS model, where you used to buy a piece of software, And yeah, you'd spend a lot of money up front, maybe like $300 on something. But they'd constantly be doing upgrades and updates and stuff for a couple of years. But now it's like, okay, I'm paying $100 a month for Ahrefs on the low end. That adds up so much faster, and you end up with like a more mediocre product, in my opinion, on the SaaS model than you would if you just. And I know it's better for the sellers; they're making way more money. I get that, but on the buyer's end, I think you're always getting something less.
Well, I think it's impossible on something that involves all this crawling and constant activity to sell a license. You can't sell a one-off license and you get
Well, yeah, I understand.
all of it.
I guess I'm not.
It's not. I mean, it's not a SaaS really. These tools. It's you're buying data that has to be refreshed every day.
Well, you were charging the same price for the data for a long time, and it was basically worthless during that time. So maybe post about that on your Reddit thread.
Yeah.
Well, the guy who was responsible for that has left the company.
Hey, your Rand's white privilege, as you said. You can go make a post.
Are we transitioning to that topic at some point, or are we?
No.
No, I don't think we should.
At this place now.
No, it's disgraceful, and yeah, maybe they've caught up, but I would never pay for like a Moz subscription ever again.
Well, why would you? I mean, Majestic's fine. Ahrefs, go suck it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
What keyword discovery thing that they're writing about in this thread?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Keyword recommendation engine. What is this?
In my opinion, the best one is not using any of the tools, but that's just me. I don't know.
I can't comment on Moz because I've never used it ever. I might have used.
I've only used I've used Open Site Explorer back in the day because you got your 5 free searches. Other than that, I tried Moz Local once. That was dog shit.
Did that turn the White Spark? Is that what White Spark is now?
No.
I think they spun it off.
No, Moz Local is their only profitable part of the business.
How is that profitable? It's like the worst one.
This local is the easiest pie, my friend. You don't really have to do anything.
You don't dare go on the Facebook group and say that. A lot of people are struggling.
A lot of people don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
So I had a Moz subscription back when I was doing corporate SEO, and when I was a beginner, like it was very easy to use Open Site Explorer, and for that like sole purpose, I guess it's good. But you move past that phase in what?
Really quick. Yeah. Or you
just
should be. Let's say you should be, because some people.
Well, what shocked me the first time I used Moz was you put the site in, and then it said, "Right, we're crawling. You'll get your report in 4 days." And I was like, "What the fuck do you mean I'm going to get my report in 4 days? I want it now."
Yeah.
And like you compare that to Ahrefs, which I know I was just slating them, but they are pretty decent in a lot of ways. Just not their new DR score, but you bang a site in, and you get all of their ranking keywords, competitor analysis, everything in 1 second. How the hell did Moz think they were going to compete when it was like, yeah, give us 4 days and we'll get you your report? It's like, buy some more computers, you fucking idiots.
I personally just want to be able to filter and manipulate the raw data as many ways as possible. And I think Ahrefs does a good job at that. I might have to swing back around and get another Majestic subscription just to see what they're doing these days.
Yeah, I quite like Majestic.
I should probably look at it. We've been paying it for 2 months now, and I haven't even looked at it. I should probably look at it.
I actually hung out with the guys from SEM Rush last week in Philly.
Oh, in Philly, yeah.
And they're coming out with some new tools. They're coming out with a topic modeling tool.
They're so far behind at the minute. I don't know what they do to catch up now. I mean, I used to love SEM Rush. Like everyone had an account. They were the go-to tool, and they offer.
They had the reverse engineering of competitor sites, and they were one of the first to do that, or do it well at least.
Ahrefs destroys them now.
Then Ahrefs came out with two new features, and I haven't looked back. I've just been in Ahrefs, but yeah, I gotta make a point of checking out some of the other platforms and see what's going on.
Why would someone still pay for SEM Rush at this point?
Loads of corporates still use it. So what I've noticed is we ran a whole bunch of like because they want it for like the traffic and stuff. We ran a whole bunch of them on Ahrefs and SEMrush side by side. They're so close. It wasn't worth us getting the SEMrush. The occasional link, it would be like, oh, we can't pay for this one. It's below on the SEMrush number, but it was like under 10%. So it just
Well, the search volumes for keywords never matched up across platforms. There was a few features that SEMrush had, and I would just do the thing where I would just sign up for a month and then cancel it, just so I could get the data that I wanted, and then bolt. But they sent a bunch of like hot college kids to the meetup that I went to, and they weren't too knowledgeable about actual the use of the tool. It was just more like, I'm hot, talk to me, buy my product.
Well, it clearly worked on you.
Did you?
No, I didn't buy.
Oh no, he bought some products, all right.
But yeah.
I think the main thing people use it for, other than search stuff, is they're still pretty good on the paid advertising analysis stuff.
They are good.
They're still really strong in that. I mean, I know there's competitors now like SimilarWeb and BuiltWith has some stuff, but I think for pay-per-click stuff, they're still the go-to for a lot of people analyzing.
Oh yeah, you're probably right about that. Yeah.
So I think they've still got to place themselves, and they can come back, but they're so far behind on search right now. It's a tough road.
Yeah.
Tough road for them, I think.
Interesting. Well, it'll be cool to see what this new link explorer is like. I mean, if it's useful, hey, that's awesome. If it's not, fuck you.
Yeah. See what happens. Next on the list, we got something on Twitter about a Sony Smart TV. I have to get up for a second so you can talk about the Samba. Doesn't sound good for data.
Steve, I think this is right up your alley, buddy, as far as privacy stuff. I'll let you.
Yeah. So it was just another, your TV shouldn't be another data harvesting tool. And this new Samba app, apparently you should really not install it if your smart TV tries to update, because it's going to start monitoring everything you watch, everything you do, all the apps you use. You would never install something like this on your phone unless you're a Facebook user. So you probably shouldn't install it on your TV. It seems like it was quite an aggressive upgrade, and I'm wondering what the economics of this was. Like, how much did these big manufacturers that are, struggling with margins like Sony get paid by these guys for the data? And how you would hope that the Facebook backlash would mean some of this stuff would be banned in future, but it just shows you how careful you have to be. And a lot of less technical savvy people, it's like, oh, your TV's updating. I'll click yes to upgrade. Yes. Do you want this app that enhances your viewing experience? Yes. I think the law needs to be a lot clearer around what kind of consent people need to give. And I think it should be like massive red messages. I will watch every TV show you watch, spy on it, and report it to our servers kind of stuff, rather than would you like an enhanced viewing experience, blah, blah.
Yeah. He says that they tried to force him to use the new app. So I'm kind of curious to know, how they, quote unquote, forced him to install it, or if there was like an easy way to just opt out of it. But yeah, I just bought one of those Roku TVs that only shows Roku. It's a Roku TCL or something like that.
Oh yeah, I have that TV.
Yeah, it's awesome. I haven't had any kind of apps forced upon me. But, if I go to a Samsung or a Sony, this is something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, mine's an LG, and that hasn't done anything weird yet, but I'm keeping an extra eye on it now.
Yeah. I know that Samsung, when they first announced their smart TVs, they basically said it was going to be recording at all times, and you have to go through all kinds of crazy, loopholes to turn that off. And I don't know if that's actually the case right now, but that's actually why I didn't buy a Samsung Smart TV.
That's a smart decision on your part, I think.
And they have some really fucking cool TVs too, like the curved TVs with like the Ultra 4K and all that stuff.
I like to buy Vizio because Vizio, they'll buy halfway through the model year, they'll buy Samsung's. You know, Samsung's already done making the TVs and they have leftover parts. Vizio will buy all that at a discount, so it's going to be the same TV. It's going to come out a year later, but whatever. It's like half the price, same shit. So I like to buy those.
There you go, TV tips.
Cool. So I guess we're up to our main topic here, huh?
What was that?
Or do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about the conference tour of 2018 first?
Oh yeah, we can talk about that quick. Yeah, no one emailed me. No one convinced me to go to Brighton SEO, but I'm going. So.
Yeah, I would love to go, but it's too short notice for me. So I think I'm going to jump straight to the fall conferences this year. I know we're talking about PubCon and Affiliate Summit East and West during the fall and winter, and our buddies at Income Store, they host Digital Footprint in Los Angeles. So might go to that one, but I'm open to suggestions, man. I know they're.
I'm going to Thailand for Diggity's conference, and I'm probably going to get shot.
Coming with.
John's coming with. John's going to be my bodyguard.
Are you going, John? Have you been to that?
I am gonna go. I've never been. I've been to Thailand a couple times.
Yeah. As far as conferences, I don't know how much of benefit it would be for guys like us as far as new knowledge. It's really to gain new business, and I don't know how much business can be gained from.
Well, yeah, that's super important. I think a lot of people don't take that seriously. Some people, probably the majority of people in the SEO world, go to these things to learn. But it's good that they're learning, but it's disheartening to people like us where you're learning stuff from these talks.
Well, I think the bubble needs to be popped about the education at these conferences, because people that think they're going to keep their ear to the ground, in the industry,
this shit's like 5 years old. It's stuff.
That doesn't happen at conferences. That happens in Slack and on Skype and at message boards. But there's some good panels every once in a while.
Yeah, especially when Ben's on one, right, Ben?
I'm thinking about doing. It's going to be a paid mastermind, but something that I haven't talked about yet. We're doing social media outreach for link building, and not a lot of people are doing. Hardly anybody's doing it. I feel like we've turned back the clock 5 years, 6 years.
Are you using Twitter for that or what?
Twitter.
You don't get to find out now.
Well, I'm going to send.
He's got to keep some stuff secret for his mastermind. Come on.
I have no idea what.
Do you remember that tool I told you about that
tracks your mentions and stuff?
No, it's like DM automation, and my buddy has used it for his social media company, and he averages like 20 new clients a month. We wrote our own scraper 8 years ago for Twitter. Oh yeah.
Maybe not 8 years ago. When was it?
A scraper. What is a scraper?
Oh no,
it was 2014.
7 years ago. It was 2012. I think I wrote it.
What are you scraping?
You're looking for. Well, it is a Firehose, so the API. So you look for tweets that are relevant to topics you want to discuss and conversations you want to get into, but it kind of groups them thematically, and then you can assign them to members of your team with the right Twitter account personas to discuss those.
In 2014 we were using it for the drug and alcohol rehab space, as to where someone's talking about being an alcoholic or some shit. There's opportunities there.
Well, when I wrote it originally in 2012, and that's what I told Vin about first when I spoke to him about it ages ago, we were using it to get business in the writing space. Because I still work in an agency that did writing then.
Yeah.
And it was basically what Vin's buddy's doing, but we didn't have to wait for someone to write a tool. We just got in and wrote some Python and it dumped a load of stuff into a CSV because I hadn't learned how to use Django yet. So just dumped the CSV on Google Docs, and they could click the various links to go straight to the right tweets and update the document once they were done. But it was super effective. You know, like half an hour a day was like one client every day, every single day. And I know, like Vin knows, they're not massive orders. You know, like someone gets a few pages to their website. You're not talking, you're picking up $10,000 worth of business a day or whatever. But if you're a writing business and you're picking up 20 new clients a month, a lot of them reorder stuff. Some of them will go on a monthly blog posting plan. So say 5 of them become permanent clients. You know, you've over the year you've added 60 clients. That are ordering
and every 100 clients or so, you're going to land that one client that's going to be with you for the next 5 years too, and they're going to grow with you as their business grows. So
and that's half an hour a day. So it's really awesome stuff. We'll probably give away a little bit of training on how to use the Twitter API and stuff on Garrett's seminar as well. So you don't have to buy any tools.
I've never done anything.
You don't have to buy any tools.
Yeah, so it's like I'll find some way to promote it, but if there's any interest in something like that, I'm willing to do it. You know, it'll probably be like $1,000 or something, but $1,500. I don't know. It might be like a solid day while I'm in Thailand.
I think you'll need a full day to get through it all, because I mean, just the stuff around the APIs and how to programmatically automate the outreach and stuff, that's going to be like half a day. And then you're going to have to get into the high level strategy and the psychology, which is another half day. I don't think you could cover it in half a day.
Yeah,
because you've got to have the automation right, and you've got to have the pitching and the psychology right, and then they're both half day courses by themselves, I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking now if it like should be some 2-day. And it's tough because like no one really understands how to do outreach properly to begin with. So it's like that
when you start doing it in real time and in public, it starts getting more fun.
Yeah,
people that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, well, it's like have some audience interaction. Get on your Twitter account. Get this link. You know, it's.
I mean, we can only do it for the higher budget clients that need the really massive numbers of links. Like, you can't put a whole social media kind of outreach strategy together for a 5-link or a 15-link a month campaign. But for those of you guys working on some big numbers, like you're doing 50, 60, 70 links a month in-house even, you know, that's when it really adds value.
Yeah, because you got to think about it. You're pretty much, it's almost a full-time job to have this persona, or 5 personas. Someone needs to be going through and I'm not going to give. You have to pretend like this person's real, okay? I'm not going to like tell you, and to do this naturally. That's the whole point, naturally and sustainably. So you have a persona that goes on for a decade, even though that person never existed.
We actually, one of my site partners and I, we just generated 5 new personas, and we're going to build them over. We're going to build them up over the long term. You know, because I'm realizing all kinds of traffic lead projects and all kinds of just, you know, traffic generation projects. I always want like a historical persona, with cool, history. So we're building them up. We might hire somebody to manage them. So we started 3 days ago actually, and just gonna start working on those.
It just shows how slowly this industry moves. Like, this is something we started developing and using in 2012, and still today, no one's using it, no one's talking about it. So, you know, yes, we are going to be guilty of selling you 5-year-old information or 6-year-old information, but
at least
it is actually cutting edge, yeah, and people aren't doing it enough. And if people do try and do it, they'll give up really quickly because it's a very interesting learning curve, and I can't see another outreach agency joining us and doing it because it's so high risk, you know, because the clients, you know, you tweet something, the client can find it. So if you tweet something stupid and make a mistake,
it's bad enough.
It's pretty bad.
The client comes across an email somehow.
I don't know. They quite often like our emails. Whenever a client said, they're like, "Wow, that's a really good email. Can you send me some more templates?" I'm like, "No." Can you give me $100,000? Could you give me $100,000 for outreach training?
We Steve and I were talking today. It's like, are we at the point we should start doing training for link building? And Steve's like, no, $100,000. And I was thinking like maybe like $3,000 per day or something.
No. I mean, to sell what we know for link building.
Steve's right. Honestly, it's like no.
Well, I'm using the price that someone paid me for that training, and that's now my minimum price. So, if you want us to train your agency in outreach, it's $100,000 because someone paid me that before, and it was worth it to them. The first year they paid me that, I saved them so much money in their outreach process. They made an extra $250,000 in profit that year.
But your whole thing is you guys don't have templates. I mean, you probably have rough templates, but most of your shit is personalized, right?
Yeah, well, we have like 30 or 40 starting templates that I've written over the years, but they're not like I showed a client one once, and he's like, "What the hell am I supposed to do with this?" I'm like, "Well, I told you weren't going to find it useful. It's like a bunch of square brackets with write something about this here, use psychology tip 17, close brackets." It's like, well, I told you our templates weren't going to be any use to you. It's like, what do you want?
Man, last year in some of those I'm still in Dan Maverick or whatever his name is, link building tip thing on Facebook, and I gave some people some tips on their letters, and I'm like, like the whole idea here is naturally most people don't want to give you a link. So what are you going to do about it? Well, I don't know. I just write my letter and that's that. I'm like, so how, how psychoanalytical are you getting with this? Are you going to be manipulative? Well, I don't want to be manipulative. I'm like, well, you're behind a fake persona for one. So you shouldn't necessarily care how you're coming off. This is Amy Jenkins sending a letter to this thing. It's like, let's use some just standard words like because of this you should do this. That's a huge psychological brain trap.
Well, that's why that's what I kind of talked about a lot on my Builder Society crash course thing. Is really you need to be following psychology of persuasion blogs and PR blogs. I think that's all we're going to say about outreach for now. But if you follow PR blogs and psychology of sales and persuasion blogs, you'll become much better at everything to do with that than if you just follow SEO idiots with their stupid templates.
Well, they are stupid.
They are stupid, yeah, and like people just copy and paste them off someone's blog post. So suddenly, how many readers does he have? 100,000 a month. So you got like 5,000 people pasting the same crappy broken links template,
right. And
then we wonder why broken link building's ruined now. Like it used to be a 40% success rate. Now it's like
it was fucking fantastic 5 years ago.
Yeah,
awesome. Actually, this week I've been working on for one of the sites. So for every it's an affiliate site, so we promote a bunch of affiliate offers, and I just started randomly emailing the companies and being like, just chatting it up with them. Then I get an interview with the owner.
We spoke about this dodgy tactic on the show just a few.
Did you? This was part of your ego bait discussion, right?
Yeah, well, it was that news story where like some guy tried to call this spammy and scammy, but we all thought it was fine.
No, so I'm doing an interview with the owner. I'm posting it on my affiliate site. From the interview.
That's what they were talking about in the article. Like, apparently, this is scammy. This is the news.
No,
how is it? Yeah.
That's what we said when we read.
The press and the media section. That's what I'm doing. I'm posting the interview, interlinking back to the affiliate promotional page on my site, so I'm getting that relevance that I need, and then the owners are sharing it all over their social media. So I'm getting links back through their, sharing through social media. And I landed 3 just this week. So I'm getting links from the actual affiliate offer companies and links through their social networks. So it's been
you black hat bastard.
Hey.
That's not cat. How is that black hat at all?
I've had this on my Trello board for 2 weeks.
I don't think it's black hat. None of us did. It was just that one article that we The SEO community thinks that's terrible now.
If I was
because it requires real work. That's why the SEO community doesn't like it.
If I was to scrape pages that only had, in the press section and only targeted them because they had in the press sections, then that would be a little black hat. But
I still don't think that would be black hat. Like, they have it in the press section. You actually did an interview. I mean, come on, how come you actually
Nobody does a fucking interview, okay? Nobody does. It's like...
And I got complimented on my interview questions, too.
I have it on my list for all of our internal sites. I'm making a list of people I want to interview, just fucking skin doctors, dermatologists, all sorts of shit, because that stuff is way beyond SEO value.
Yeah,
I want to interview John for all of our cryptocurrency sites. It sounds like he's got some.
I'm available for interviews.
And if we're talking about topical relevance, what's better than having the owner's name plastered all over one article, and you link to the article you're trying to rank from that article? Yeah. That's pretty fucking awesome.
Oh, this just gets more and more black hat by the minute.
Turns out we're scumbags all along.
Well, we used to do that.
We never got to our main topic, guys. What the hell is going on?
That was the main topic.
We got to do hashtag SEO.
All right, let's jump on Twitter real quick.
The main topic will be pretty quick because everyone's turned their RSS feeds off now. So.
Oh yeah.
Let me find a good abusive one. God, I'm actually getting tired of doing this because they're always the same bullshit.
We need a new segment. We need more segments actually. Like, the show needs some funny segments.
Yeah. We
should come up with some really weird searches that are something.
I have an interesting one that I thought might have been actually at Launch Point Church. Our high school graduates / college students will be doing mission work in New Orleans the last weekend in April, and we are in need of men's pants. If you would like to donate, you can leave them at the front desk until April 22nd. Hashtag SEO. And SEO is all in caps. I thought maybe this church was doing SEO, but no, we're on
SEO should all be in caps.
Well, yes, that's what I'm saying. She's hashtag SEO. She's like doing this on purpose. What does this have to do with SEO?
Well, I thought
they were maybe like trying to rank their church's website or something in New Orleans when I skimmed over it. But okay.
I found something that's going to put Vin out of business. It's called Keyword to RSS. They've got a new tool, Unique Article Creator. You can create SEO articles in just a click. So you're out of business, Vin. The machines have come for you.
Yeah, John's coming for you.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm going to get all of my articles from this now. I'm sure they're going to be really good.
And I saw the dude from Word AI is getting away because for a while he was trying to get into that artificial intelligence content writing, and now what he's doing is he's ripping off Grammarly, and with his own tool. I think it's called Present Tense or something like that. But it's kind of off topic.
Grammarly's pretty
Word
good,
AI is complete garbage.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Using the API was complete garbage.
Why are there 87 tweets in a row from an account called Nigerian Monkey in the hashtag SEO?
Yeah, why do you think?
Because they just.
Well, no, it doesn't seem to have anything to do with anything. They're not even proper tweets. It's just random words.
I actually found like a legit one from Manuel Martinez. Super quick survey for my hashtag SEO colleagues out there. Which of these two tools do you prefer for log analysis? OnCrawl, Botify, or other? Should have said 3 options. Whatever. I don't know what OnCrawl is or Botify, and I'm not good with log analysis. So
Botify is probably the best well known, I think. What do you think, John? I don't know if you bother looking at any.
I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
Log file analysis. Botify, I think, is the most famous one, isn't it?
I usually just do it by hand because I'm spot checking stuff. So
I usually just delete my log files. Don't look at them.
I don't do anything. I just let them sit there.
I'm like, this could
There's
free up some
not
space.
a lot of
This will free up some space on the server.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much all I got here.
Does anyone use
I'm not
Google?
seeing any good ones.
No, it's
Does
just.
anyone-
I think we got to come up with something.
I always find the same Australian one that just like writes completely random tweets and tags it SEO tips at the end.
Yeah.
So we've gone over that many times. I don't need to revisit that.
All right. We'll have a new segment for next week. I'm going to think of something else we can do. I think we should have two. I think we should avoid any more Bitcoin. I think people have had enough of us now.
We could do 5 minutes of Garrett insulting people.
We do that every show, like times 20.
Yeah. It's usually SEO review sites.
We should have like a show where Garrett isn't allowed to insult anyone. That would be more of a feature than.
That's going to cost you.
Oh, Garrett does have a new site coming out though, where he's going to insult people constantly. So if you're enjoying, if you're enjoying the
No, it's going to be fair. But if you have a reason to be insulted, you're going to get it. If you have a reason to get praise, you're going to get it. And if you're in the middle, you're going to get the middle.
On your about page, you need to list every reason that you could be insulted.
If you suck, you're going to get insulted.
Yeah,
if you do a mediocre job, I'm going to say you're fucking mediocre. Try harder. If you blew my mind, good for you. You can still do
But I'll still find a reason to shit on you, regardless.
I know.
Yeah. And if Garrett's in a bad mood, which is most days, you're going to get insulted.
Yeah.
even if it was amazing.
I've come to think of it as like a sign of love and admiration when he insults me. It's like, because you must only be comfortable to say those type of things with true friends.
Actually, you're exactly right. If I'm insulting you, it's like face to face or like whatever, you know.
Yeah. It's like a bro hug.
Mm-hmm. Do better.
I mean, Vin would prefer a bro hug, but he'll take what he gets.
That is correct.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So
what
our
we-
main topic this week, guys, is what? Let's
Right,
get back
so-
to RSS feeds.
Yeah, so there was an interesting post in Wired just about like RSS feeds, and if you're sick of having this like filter bubble type news experience, or we were moaning about it earlier, the way like you've curated the perfect SEO list on Twitter with all the best SEO people that were sharing amazing stuff, and then suddenly it becomes like it's like the politics argument thread on my Twitter now, and I never see anything SEO in there. So like now I've got to go and find new people to listen to and stuff. And social media kind of has a habit of surfacing arguments and extreme agitation instead of information. So the article is kind of suggesting that if you want to get a pure and kind of clean experience, just the people you want to read and whatever you were trying to achieve out of what you were trying to read, you should go back to RSS. So I think we've all had a kind of half-hearted attempt this week to find some RSS stuff, check out our old RSS accounts, and we may as well just kind of mix the review in. The one that we found to try that was kind of most promising was called InnoReader, INOReader.com. It's probably the most familiar to most people that have used our. It's a little bit different than the old Google Reader. I think it'd be tough to beat the kind of ease of using. Yeah, I think like I'm trying to remember my login to get back on this thing.
I actually use feeder.co, and I've never stopped using it because you basically can, in the feed, you can set different folders, which you can set different topics, so you can have multiple feeds, right? And it's pretty slick. It's just got a sidebar with all your feeds up on the left, and then you click on what you want to read, and it appears in the reader on the right, and accessible via desktop and mobile. So it's like $2 a month, and it's awesome. So what I do is I keep, for all my affiliate sites, is I keep a feed for each that includes the blogs of each one of the companies that I promote. and then I could do like monthly roundups about the industry, about what's going on. So in a quick view, I can see all the recent blog posts for all the companies that I promote, and I just have a writer go into it and do a roundup.
See, that's a really good idea. It's got nothing to do with the main topic. That's all.
I'm sorry.
That's the don't tweet this.
Yeah, there you go.
We jumped in. We don't have a.
No, I had a good don't tweet this. You just don't like it.
It just looks like another one of your crazy rants. We're going to skip. Vin has stolen the don't tweet this by actually giving a good SEO tip.
I'm just going to say now, stop pretending you make money when you don't.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't understand why we moved away from RSS readers, and everybody says it's like an old technology or technology that wasn't adopted enough. I mean, it's super useful. And
Google killed it is why?
What's that?
Google killed it is why we moved away from it?
How did they kill it?
Well, they had Google Reader and they closed it down, and all of our links and data and things we followed were in there, and I was too lazy to copy them all onto another RSS reader.
Yeah. They closed it and I think the point of the main topic today is so many people are so reliant on social now to feed them information.
Right.
But you're just getting fed manipulated information by gurus and people that have an alternate agenda. Whereas with an RSS reader, you can curate your own information, and you can only add content that is legitimate and backed up by fact.
It's funny. I've been meeting with my attorney. She's doing all the paperwork for buying this house instead of using a realtor, and she was always a huge corporate litigator or something, and now she just has her own small practice. So she's having a website built, and she's doing some of the marketing stuff on her own. And we were talking about what I do for work or whatever, and she's like, every time I go to a website now, I never would have realized this a year ago, but even on Facebook or Twitter or most websites, it's all bullshit. It's all stuff that's been paid to have in front of my face. I'm like, yeah. And it's really how most internet works.
And also, you're not getting a true chronological feed either. You're getting a feed of what they think is best for you, which is never best for you.
Yeah, I read a really interesting analysis of Facebook's challenge with the news feed, and it was a bit too irrelevant for the show, I guess. So I didn't put the link in, but they were really talking about the amount, because people just follow everything and connect with everyone.
Yeah.
No one would ever scroll through more than 1% of their feed, because that would take them 40 minutes and then they'd get bored. So Facebook's obviously desperately trying to show you a snapshot that is going to be most interesting to you, but all the signals you give them, like things you get angry about, things that you argue with someone about, things that you hit like on, aren't necessarily the most important things for you to see. So you miss loads of really valuable information about actual family and connections because you get more angry about some political issue that you're in the middle of an argument with your brother about for a week.
Yeah.
And so then they think that's what you're into from then on. And the challenges they face are, because of how big the networks have grown, are pretty big. Whereas, like Vin was saying, if you curate a meaningful feed, like you've got one brand you're working on and you have all the relevant industry news in one feed, you can be super focused for that hour and get proper deep value out of what you're reading and analyzing, and actually write something meaningful, learn something meaningful. There isn't any social feed that can give you that super drilled down context switching. Mm-hmm. Unless you had like 50 fake Facebook accounts and connected with industry.
You can kind of do that with tools like Hootsuite and Buffer, because you can have multiple feeds right in that platform. But Feeder has been awesome for me because they just have that folder feature, and every different folder is a different feed. So I'm just kind of clicking on folders.
Well, I tried that on social with like TweetDeck, but these exact same people that were all talking about SEO 3 years ago are now all like just arguing about, whether we're all racists or everyone should kill themselves. Yeah. And I'm like, well, what the hell kind of, this is my SEO list on TweetDeck. Like, I'm not learning anything.
It was only a few years ago on Facebook. You had the option. There was an alternate feed where you could set a setting to just get the chronological feed.
Yeah,
but
that's gone now.
What do they call it now? It's just like the AI feed, or like,
It is the feed. There's no way. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And you can go through each post and say, this is relevant to me or not, or whatever the fuck. Actually, I'm looking now. I think they've even got rid of that. You can hide it, so I would assume that'll tell the algorithm, I don't want to see stuff from him.
And what is the change they just made recently within the past couple of months about taking page content out of the feed?
If you're not pay to play and you're a page, that a page is assuming, it's assuming that not that just you're a business, but you're trying to promote something. You have to be paying for sponsored posts to be seeing organic.
Well, they'd already cut their reach down from 70% to 3%.
They've done it again.
It was inevitable. It was going to go to zero at some point near enough because.
And you're making fun of me for my fucking Facebook that gets no engagement.
Well, you could do it. You could do it getting a bit more engagement than zero. I mean, we haven't posted on our Facebook for like 5 years, and we get zero as well. So you're not beating no activity.
Well, I get like 2 new followers a month, guys. So that's
we got 14 last month. And we didn't post them.
Man,
and for our dead brand.
If you guys want to do a case study with Q Promote, I've got like 10 credits for 30-day promotions, and we could use it because I just forgot to turn it off on my credit card. So they've been charging me $40 a month, and I haven't been doing it. But
so what can we use it for?
You can promote any single page you want to promote through their.
We allowed to do like cryptocurrency affiliate links.
Well, that's not gonna work on Facebook. They banned that.
They banned it for ads. They haven't banned these Q whatever people.
I did 2 of their promotions through Q Promote, and the only engagement that I got was from other Q users. So it's like a giant circle jerk.
Well, they sound like the kind of marks who would buy our cryptocurrency.
Cool. So yeah, the point is RSS feeds. If you want real information from legitimate sources, that's the way to go over trusting your Twitter and Facebook feed these days.
Yeah, and I think interesting places to read are outside the industry. So, like PR, Spin Sucks is a good blog. Tech News, obviously, news.y Combinator. They have an RSS feed.
It's kind of like building your own subreddit or building your own Hacker News, because even subreddits are a little bit biased. It's more than a little bit.
They're echo chambers of the highest order, but you can jump between a bunch of different ones and get a taste for some different angles.
Yeah.
I think that's where Reddit wins, is you control your own reading experience. Like if you're in the Donald, you know exactly what you're getting. If you're in big SEO, you know who's in there. If you're in RSEO, you know it's going to be fucking insane. Like they're pretty clear what you're going to be reading. Whereas when an algorithm controls your reading experience, because I deliberately read news that I disagree with. Like I read one of the national broadsheets here that is completely on the opposite side of the political spectrum to me, because I like to read dissenting opinions to form a balanced understanding of an issue, not just read the paper that agrees with me and nod repeatedly. Right. I read some guy rant about it, and I think Reddit gives you that control. Like if you were a diehard liberal trying to understand why people voted Trump, you could spend a day in the Donald and vice versa. Whereas if your Facebook newsfeed becomes curated to suit you by an algorithm, you don't even know what it's trying to show you or why it's thinking that way. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And then the search engines do it as well. Like Google is a search bubble. News that's more likely to please you will show higher up. So you can search as a liberal or conservative, you'll search a topic and you're more likely to see stories that agree with your viewpoint.
That's interesting.
It's kind of hard to, which is one of DuckDuckGo's kind of selling points when they launched, was that they weren't going to filter bubble you. You were just going to see the pages, irrelevant on what you were more likely to click on. It's going to be the same for everyone. I don't know if they still do. I wonder if do they still have the don't filter us, don't bubble us. I don't know if they still have they had a little microsite kind of explaining it all.
Are you following DuckDuckGo? How is that coming along?
It's massively improved. It's massively improved. Like I can't believe how much better it's got compared with when did I first use it? It might even be when it was better. Yeah, I guess it was so new in the first couple of years I used it. It is massively improved. You can use it now if you're a coder and you're looking for weird specific coding answers. I find I only use Google if it's like some mainstream thing.
Yeah.
And I can't. I'm using Google less and less now. Like actually, DuckDuckGo is my default search engine now on Firefox, and I only use the the Google exclamation mark thing, whatever it is, G exclamation mark, very infrequently now compared with before. Whereas I was just kind of using it half the time before. So yeah, DuckDuckGo is massively improved. I can't find their don't bubble us or don't. But they had a nice microsite that explained how the big search engines, I guess if I find it, we can link it next week, but they had a really cool like microsite that explained how the other search engines bubble you and just show you stuff that agrees with you. And it's that kind of echo chamber that's making everyone hate each other so much and argue all the time. Like you used to go down the bar and have a chat with someone who disagrees with you. Now, like everyone's convinced that everyone else is Satan.
Right.
But if all you ever read is people who agree with you that everyone else is Satan, and the other person you're talking to reads the opposite side of the story where you're Satan.
Well, it's because they're viewing the world in a black and white nature when the world exists in several shades of gray, and that's unfortunate. But also, there's a lot of uneducated people out there, and you can't make them smart. You can't make them cultured.
You can't, but you can enhance their stupidity by showing them lots of people that agree with them as their own search results.
Yeah, exactly.
So Google is the enhanced stupidity engine for humanity, and us is Facebook. So we're actually not search engine optimizers, we're enhanced stupidity optimizers. And
I love DuckDuckGo. I've used it exclusively for forever.
For real?
Yeah, for real. I haven't used Google consistently. I mean, I make most of my money from Google, but I haven't used it for like my personal searching for at least like 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, the last 2 years, DuckDuckGo has been. I find my use of Google just constantly going down as DuckDuckGo gets better. It used to be like whenever you were coding, DuckDuckGo would never find you the right answer. It wouldn't be recent enough. Now it's so much better. I'm finding myself not struggling as much at all. It's kind of cool.
Now I do all my coding searches in DuckDuckGo now. Like it surfaces the same or better than Google does. So.
What are they doing for revenue?
Advertising.
They just have standard ads, yeah, just one ad at the top.
I guess I usually don't. When I do, I don't use it as much as you guys do, but I rarely see an ad, to be honest with you.
They don't run them on all the searches, not even close to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, their revenue is tiny compared with the big data companies. But
yeah, I just figured. I guess I figured they would still have a lot of ads and just charge way less. But this is fine too because I never see an ad, and that's nice.
Yeah, I think it's a great product. Cool. I think Apple should buy them, to be totally honest.
Oh, Apple would find a way to ruin
that would be a good play. Because they don't have any kind of search engine, right?
No.
There's no search graph or whatever you call it or any of that stuff.
I think though, like
mobile traffic is on iPhones too. So
DuckDuckGo benefits though from access to lots of search APIs. Like Microsoft sell them results data and scrape. Like they get access to core data from Google. Even sells them some data. So I think they benefit a lot from being a kind of neutral niche product. Like people don't mind helping them. Like they're no threat to Google. So if they want to give Google some money and get some data, Google doesn't care. I think if Apple bought them, Apple might find themselves paying a lot of money to run the search engine suddenly.
Well, yeah.
Their costs might go up like 8,000% immediately. So I think they kind of benefit from not being a competitor, but being an alternative. And so, like to Google, it's like, well, these privacy weirdos are going to use DuckDuckGo anyway. We may as well get this $10 million because
it's these privacy weirdos.
Yeah. Whereas if it's like if it's Apple, they're like, oh, Apple could give us $1 billion for this, right?
Oh, anyways, we're coming up on 2 hours. We might as well call our quits, huh?
Yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah. Once again, the last few videos, I'll put them up tomorrow, I promise, for the 24 hours of SEO. Don't forget to go 24hoursofseo.com/register. You get all the decks, the slideshows, all that fun stuff. Don't forget to smash that like button. Email Sassy Steve your SEO questions. Send them a red wine.
And if you're at Brighton... If you're at Brighton SEO, definitely hit me up. That's more important than your questions this week.
Yeah.
And if you're at Brighton SEO and you want to be insulted, go introduce yourself to Garrett.
Yeah, at Garrett Palado, at Garrett Pallado.
Last week I said the only way I was going to go if someone would tweet at me telling me to go, and no one did. Probably because I don't use Twitter, but.
Yeah, but you're going anyway. So
yeah, so now I'm going.
Now you definitely, if you want to be insulted, he will buy you an old-fashioned.
I will buy you a drink and then insult you.
While you're drinking it, he will insult you until you're finished.
Oh, man.
You know, everyone says Minnesota nice. Minnesota nice only applies to people that aren't from Minnesota. If you live in Minnesota, you have to be an asshole.
There you go.
I'm serious. That's just the way it works. But
there we go.
All right, boys.
All right. See you next week.
I'm off to Vegas. I'll see you next Thursday.
Hopefully you survive.
See you guys.
Later.
Adios.
A little special treat tonight.